Yo, Internet, it's your man Combat Jack. Welcome to this very special, recorded in front of a live audience, episode of the Combat Jack Show, featuring once again the return of Redman. Want to shout out A King, Homeboy Just Blaze came through, Jonathan Mena held it down. Out of 7 years, this was the only show that I never showed up to record, and the reason why is because I got hit with some real life shit. A couple of weeks ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I was rushed to the hospital and had some pretty severe surgery. I'm on the mend right now, and I'm about to jump on this journey to health with chemo. Probably do some some live alternative health as well, so I don't get caught up in that. I say that to say, man, take care of your health. Your boy ain't going nowhere though. We're gonna keep doing this and keep rocking with us, man. I'll keep y'all posted. New hashtag, raise the bar, combat cancer. Let's go.
One time salute to Redman. This is the Combat Jack Show, Loudspeaker Network. I do have a wingman today. He just went to the bathroom, so when we walk in, oh, cheat code. Yo, what's up? Yo, why y'all here? Clap. I gotta. Y'all are so disrespectful.
No liquor. Everybody make some noise for Just Blaze.
Yeah.
What up?
Oh man.
Yes.
So, this episode is powered by Acid Cigars and Tito's Vodka.
Tito got a vodka?
That's.
It ain't no vodka in this, right? It ain't Tito's vodka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucked my stomach up with that. I don't drink that shit. Yeah. Ooh.
So, like Redman, you here, man? 3 decades.
Check.
You hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
3 decades in the game. Countless albums, platinum, gold, and you got a new situation occurring.
A new situation.
You want to talk about it? I'm
show.
excited about it.
With the
I saw the
Scare Family
trailer.
Show? Oh, yeah. For those who don't know, I don't want to act. That's why a lot of people say, man, why you do more movies? And I don't want to act. I don't want to host shows. I want to be behind the camera. That's my goal. I want to direct. I want to bring some more realness to movies nowadays because we need that. But the show, Scared Famous, like even when VH1 called me, like I was like, yeah, should I do it?
Yeah.
Would I be a part of the VH1 ratchetness?
Hell yeah.
But I'm like, nah, it's not that kind of a platform. The platform of the show is, I'm the master of ceremonies. And, my job is to make these reality stars shit a chicken. I'm trying to really scare the shit out of them.
Now hold on, let me interrupt. Have y'all seen the trailer for this shit?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all okay?
Yeah, so it's pretty
see.
cool. And I'm not hosting through the whole show. What my job is, I'm introducing the challenges that they have to go through to get eliminated and eliminating each other. The most fun part about this platform is that they got reality stars from different shows. Like
Love and Hip Hops and
they got Drita from Mob Wives.
Right.
They got Young Jock with the haircut from Atlanta.
Right.
They got Erica Mena from New York, and they got
The Black Ink
Big
chick,
Titty
right?
Tiff. I Love New York in it. They got Eva, the next top model in there. Don, the male top model. They got Alaska. Like I met I never heard of this. Because I don't know how to say it. I don't know if I'm saying him or her. But Alaska.
person.
Yeah, Alaska from RuPaul's drag queen race, something like that or some shit. Yeah, somebody know out there. But yeah, they got all these big reality stars in one haunted house. Now we shot this show in Savannah, like 10 minutes out of Savannah. And everybody knows Savannah is some real haunted shit out there. That's the plantation land.
Right.
So there's a lot of lives that was lost on that land that it's bound for something to be spooky out there.
Sure.
And it was like 100 acres and we was out there by ourselves. So they got them all in one house. And besides me giving off the challenges, Because every time they see me, they know I got some bad news to tell them. And they go at it. Like, it's not even just on the challenges, but in the house itself. You know, it get really fucking weird in there, man. A lot of spooky shit go on in there. And they play for their favorite charity. They get like 100 bands for their favorite charity at the end of the day. So it's good.
Whoever wins all the challenges gets the
they get that. Charity. Yeah, whoever the last one that survives the whole shit, they get them 100 bands for their favorite charity.
Now, is this idea that you pitched to VH1, or they hired you to?
Absolutely not. Somebody came to me with the idea.
So I mean, I'm sure you get pitched a lot of shit. Like,
I do.
And you probably turn down a lot of things,
I turned down a lot of shit, man.
When I saw the trailer, I said, this is Redman all the way.
Yeah, why you say that?
Cause it's like, I'm thinking about There's a Dark Side.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like when I see the trailer, I'm like, this is the reality show for it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Cause
like they could probably play tracks off that.
Because just hosting me being, I'm an ugly motherfucker. You know, I feel I'm just light skinned and funny. That's what gets me over. That's what gets me the draws to women. I'm light skinned and funny. But as far as looks, like I'm like, I'm an ugly motherfucker. So I try to stay off that motherfucking camera as much as possible. But this little part here, this little part they gave me on the show didn't allow me to be in it the whole show because it's all about the reality stars winning that money. So it was good. It worked out. It balanced it.
Did you have any input in the direction of the show? Oh, you just
Yo, what's funny is I love directing so much till when I get on anybody's set, I'm going right to the director. I'm not fucking around with the cast and bullshit and talking and smoking. When I get on anybody's set, if I'm doing a feature or I'm doing a collabo, when I go on somebody's set and we shooting a video, I go right to the director. All right, what are we doing? What's my part? What's my goal? So when I got on that set, you got to realize this is a show that they just came up with literally 2 weeks before they started shooting. They called me and asked me to be a part of it.
That's a bigger bag, right?
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. So, but at the end of the day, when I get on the set, if I notice things that I feel is not right, I'm going to speak my mind. Right. Because if I'm going to be a part of something, I want to do it big. I don't want to be just a part of the VH1 family and you just say, oh yeah, we got Redman. No, fuck that. I want that shit to be top notch. And when I got on that set, some of them shits wasn't up to par scary. How many people are horror fan in here?
No doubt.
I mean, serious horror fan. Who saw Suspiria? Then we ain't got no horror fans.
I failed.
All right, do your homework. Suspiria is one of the top main 3 horror films you can ever see that's scary as shit. I went to the movies as a kid and seen Suspiria as when I was like 10 years old. So I'm a big horror fan, and when I got up on there, some of them shits wasn't scary. So we had to do a lot of niching, a lot of turning around. I was real cocky with my statements like, yeah, we need to do this. And I asked you, if you came in the room and you saw that, would you really be scared, motherfucker?
Right.
And they thought about it. They like, yeah, Redman, you know what? At the end of each day they'd come to me and be like, you know, Redman, everything you were saying today was right. Don't get us wrong. And we want to make this as scary as possible. But since we was at the last minute, we have to do what we have to do. So, so we dealt what we dealt with and we made it. We made it happen. Yeah. But wait till fucking next season.
So it's greenlit for another season without.
Oh, it gotta be. It got to be.
When does this air?
This airs this Monday, the 23rd at 9:00.
Dope.
You know they're remaking Suspiria, right? It's coming out next year.
Oh, they're gonna remaster it?
They're remaking the actual movie.
No fucking way.
Yup, 2018 is coming out.
Wow. And you know what's my other favorite scary movie? The Brood.
I don't think I've ever seen it, bro.
The Brood. BROOD.
Oh, The Brood. Yes.
Come on, you know this shit. Anybody seen The Brood in here? Damn, y'all young.
They're lying. Y'all trying to just make up for the last question.
Yo, The Brood is.
That's before a lot of their time.
Why don't we try to buy the rights to that and shoot that over?
Let's do it.
Yeah, that was a conversation that these two gentlemen can have. I want to
be
PA.
Canada owns that movie. I want to shoot that movie over.
Let's have fun. I'm down for real.
Just play, don't play.
You know I don't play.
I know you don't play. Okay.
I'm saying I'm gonna do it.
Let me ask you, and this question is for Just too. Like, you guys been in the game for so long, but you found, I guess, not side work, but you found other means of work, outside of the music. Like, how important is that? You know what I mean? To as it relates to your journey and putting a stamp on your legacy?
I mean, for me, the music, you use your God-given talent to, establish your empire. You know what I mean? So if your way in is through the music, that's cool. It doesn't mean that's not where you stay.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never give up on the music because that's what you love. But that allows you the opportunity to do other things, tour, see the world. I just co-opened a restaurant with a couple of my homies. You know what I mean? It's doing amazing.
Where's that?
Jersey City.
Okay.
Honey Ramen. Shout out to Luck. And started a publishing company. There's so many other things that you can do that the music allows you the opportunity to do. Right. So that's the platform. All my ventures, one way or another, always relate back to music or entertainment, right. But you can't just stay in one place.
Right.
You can't fucking stay in one place. Not survive off rap.
Nope.
I'd be broke as a motherfucker if I had to depend on niggas buying records.
And you still tour.
Hell yeah, I still
Crazy.
Tour. Me and Meth still tour like it's 1992. Y'all might not hear it or whatever, but yo, we have to shut down getting off tour. Like we're overseas like maybe 6-7 months out the year, man.
That's crazy.
And even it started picking back up in the States too. And I'd like to thank the new generation on that for not giving good shows, because we getting shows like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like it's still the 90s.
Yeah.
But like Just said, man, and you build this platform to open other opportunities. And music, it always circle right back around to music, and you never forget that, because that's what the people appreciated you for anyway.
To begin with, yeah.
Exactly. So,
You got any other films or visuals that we should be on the lookout for?
Shit.
That you could discuss?
Yo, first of all, like, whoever How High fans in here, like, if it was up to me and Meth, we would have been on How High 3 or some shit right now. But it was all political, and we finally got a script like last year, and we read it, and we didn't like it. We figure if the script is not going to be as funny as the first one, we're not going to taint the first one. You know what I mean? We're not going to taint it. We're just going to leave it as a classic and move on to something else. So they're going back in on the script again. Yep. Hopefully, it have the antics I'm looking for. I told them, look, I'll write the bitch. It was my idea from How High 1. Right. They said, Red, what do y'all want to be in How High 1? I said, listen, I already know what I want How High to be. I want How High to be Animal House. No, Animal House. Right. And what's the other one? God damn it. I wanted to be something like Animal House with the dorms and the wildness and the craziness. And they took that and they ran with it. And they
How High?
Everybody? Yeah, and Dustin ran with it. Dustin,
making sure y'all on,
Yeah, they better be. Shit.
But I don't want to touch on this too much, but I got to, because you're here. But I was told, hold that for the next later on in 2018. You got a project you're working on, right?
What, Muddy Waters 2?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's happening.
Oh, that's fucking happening.
Cause I felt like you cheated us with Mudface. Like,
no. Yo, you know what? Mudface was just to hold y'all over and shit, because you know what? I was going through a transition of, leaving Def Jam and where I'm gonna go. Like I'm learning this independent shit. You gotta understand, like me and Meth, we've been on Def Jam for like 20 years, my nigga. And they raised us. And it's a good thing that, we learned the platform. We learned how to turn the wheel in the game, because this independent shit is a motherfucker. But once you get the hang of it, you can be profitable.
But you got catalog too.
Yeah, I got catalog, but you got to understand, Def Jam own that catalog.
Yeah.
Unless I go remaster.
Exactly. Now, is that why on iTunes for Doc's name, there's certain tracks that's blurred out for whatever reason? Like you don't have the whole album on there. The track list is there, but like 4 or 5 songs are not available.
That's generally a licensing issue. A lot of times, if there's a sample that can't get cleared, a lot of times that's normally the case when it comes to. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know about iTunes. They won't fuck with iTunes.
Nah, it's on there, but it's like
certain songs
like
are missing.
15 tracks, like 4 or 5 songs are missing. Like it's blurred out for Doc's name in particular.
Get the fuck.
Probably license issues.
That shit, yeah.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
iTunes got to fix that, or somebody.
But that's really Def Jam has to fix that.
Come on, Def Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm signed to Ingrooves out there in California, so I'm gonna throw the Muddy Waters 2 out independent. Now about this album, bro, like it's taking so long because I'm paying for samples on that bitch. Like I'm bringing samples back. Like my album is full of samples. And you all know, when you negotiating samples, like it can take like a month and a half for one song to get cleared and shit. So that's the weight on it. But I'm definitely dropping in 2018.
Any hard release date?
No release date, no anything. I ain't even gonna lie.
We got Just Blaze on there.
Shit, me and Just Blaze got a record. We sitting on just waiting to release.
It's fire.
I did this record like 8 years ago.
Literally.
And it's still
It is still banging.
Still banging to this day. Still banging. But of course, I would love when me and Meth do Blackout 3, we getting Just Blaze on that bitch. Like, we already
I got one for you. When we get out of here, I got one for you.
Okay, cool. Like, we already discussed that. Me, my manager, Ellis, and Meth. Like, Just Blaze is on a Blackout 3.
It's fire.
We are doing a Blackout 3. We're going to try to make, hopefully, looking at the time-wise, if we don't drop the album, Blackout 3 along with the movie, then we just going to drop it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I'm privy to certain information because, you know, you're the big bro.
Right.
Like before I say what I was getting ready to say, what inspires you in 2017, man? Like, I know you kind of been like on the low doing a lot of other things outside of music.
Right.
But I would say over the last 2 years, maybe less, you've been like working with a lot of heavy hitters, man.
Yeah.
You know, like what inspires you to this day as it relates to the Rockefeller days and
it's always, to be honest, what actually keeps me going is the inspiration. Like, when there's artists that I like, or artists that I'm excited about, I'm in there all day. Right. You know, and then you go through that wave where the sound that's popping might not necessarily be for you. You know what I mean? So you just fall back and find something else to do. You know, cause it's a wheel. The sound always comes back around. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes you just gotta diversify, come back, you know, when it's about that time. And the way I always look at it is the other things that you mentioned that I'm doing outside of music actually keep me relevant within music as well, because your name is always around, being mentioned one way or another.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, what inspires me the most, I would say just overall, is just the fact that I'm in the game now 19 years. And most of us as producers, producers and artists a lot of times have different shelf lives. Like, an artist can go on for two or 3 decades and still keep rocking. Most producers, you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 years. Yes. Think about who was hot 4 years ago. Yeah. Producer wise. Like, hot as in not talented, but who was the popular dude to go get on your album. Right. Most of those dudes, you don't hear from them anymore. No. Think about dudes from 8 years ago. You don't hear from them anymore. It's only a handful of us that have survived past 5 years, and an even smaller number who have survived past 10 or 15. You know, so the fact that I'm in that small group is actually something that keeps me inspired.
Clap it up.
Yeah, listen, he's right. He's fucking right, because you know why? Because I'm right there with you, because you know Rockwall is my man too, and I encourage him all the time. I'll be like, Rock. Now, I want to ask you a question, just like, are you willing to step out the box and make new music that the new artists want, as far as trap or anything?
Definitely. I think part of the reason why I have had some, I still pop out every, once a year with something fresh is I can adapt to that style, but still inject my personality and my own sound into it. You know what I mean? For me, it's just about, put it like this. This is the analogy I always use. I use the Illmatic analogy. People always say, Nas never made another Illmatic. He shouldn't have, because then Illmatic wouldn't be special. Exactly. So if I was still making the same beats that I was 10 years ago, there would be nothing special about it. It has to keep evolving. Can I go turn around and make like a Metro Boomin type beat, for example? I could make that, but that wouldn't be me. Mm-hmm. But I could take that tempo and that feel and adapt it to what I do.
That's right. Put your signature on it.
Exactly.
See, that's what a lot of producers need to learn how to do. Put their signature on new beats. That's what I want. Hey, Rockwall, you hear that, brother?
Rock, what up, big bro?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I think you kind of did that too with Mudface, and even your more recent stuff where you experiment with the auto-tune and
just
where it's like it's Redman, but
just a little baby ball here of auto-tune. I can't stand that fucking auto-tune because it makes most of these artists out here undistinctive. And they're not some of them are not superheroes because you can't tell who they are when you throw that song on because of that goddamn auto-tune. Yeah. That auto-tune is just, that's why I respect the TDE crew, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Joey Badass, even Gunplay from MMG, man. Like, these are some of my favorite guys I listen to. Boogie from California as well.
Oh, Boogie, yeah. He's dope.
So like, they're distinctive. And don't get me wrong, I like some of the new music with the auto-tune. I like that shit.
But the difference is, all those dudes you mentioned they you know who they are.
Yes.
They're not just the record or the song. Right. You see what I mean? Like, I had this conversation a lot with my friends in my age group. in that era, in your first era,
Mhm.
everyone that was out at that time, you knew who they were as artists.
Exactly.
It wasn't just, oh, that's the dude that has such and such song or such and such dance that's out right now, or the dance that goes with the record, or the dude who went viral last week, who we won't hear from again by next month.
That's right.
Y'all all had distinct personalities. Y'all were like you said, superheroes.
Superheroes. What do y'all think about the new music? Like it?
That was my next question to you.
I mean, you could be
Don't
honest.
lie, because I see y'all on Twitter lying.
Yeah, I
Y'all
heard
lying.
some of that shit on
Y'all
your
be
answer
supporting that
machine when I
bullshit.
called your phone.
Don't let me call some of y'all out.
Yeah, y'all called y'all ring back. Y'all had some of that shit on.
So,
Huh? Yeah, I know.
not really, because I think it's just, I think it's acquired taste. If you got a good ear for what you hear, it won't matter if it's a now or 90s or 2000s. It's like, if it's hot, it's hot.
But on
in my
top of that,
opinion.
you know what it is also, music, is made for more than just one purpose.
Right.
And I think what's happening is, the music that people all complain about, or a lot of people in the older age groups complain about in terms of hip hop right now, all that music is geared towards one purpose.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? As opposed to like a situation where certain records are for the clubs. Cause we always had good music, bad music, party music, dance music, chill music, depressing music, horrorcore, rap music. We've always had different facets of rap. The difference before was that there was a little bit of a balance in the time and place for everything.
That's right.
Whereas a lot of the records that now are just all geared towards chasing the same record that was hot last week.
Exactly.
Which is why there's so many records that sound literally the same right now with so many artists. Like, it's cool to bite each other's flows now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like literally like 20 records out at once with the Migos flow.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't even know, but you know what? It's serious, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't even tell one from the other. But my thing is, I blame a lot of that too on the radio. Because the radio promotes how this is what you gotta do to win. And it don't have any balance.
Right.
Like for example, in our day, our Nicki Minaj was Lil' Kim.
Right.
Our Nicki Minaj was Foxy Brown.
Mm.
But then we had Nefertiti.
Right.
Then we had Bahama
I
Dia.
was about to say, yeah.
You
There's a balance.
We had balance. And they were winning.
Yep.
They were conscious. Even with the R&B, where's Neo Soul at? I want Neo. They don't even think about Neo Soul. We had Casey and JoJo, Neo Soul, Music Soul Child. Distinction.
Right.
Balance. The radio need to help balance that out. The radio need to have a certain amount of time here with the new shit. Bring it back with some 90s shit. Go back to the 70s. Let them know where that sample came from, like we used to do in our time on the stations. And so I blame that on the radio as well. We need to get better directors up there that don't give a fuck about commercial money, even though it pays the bills.
What is the balance between paying the bills and maintaining the culture?
Exactly. But it's mentally if they want to do it. They got to really feel it here. Like, you know what? I'm up here. I have a position. I have a fucking responsibility to save it. Exactly. So my money will come from the love I put in this bitch. Right. And it's not enough of that.
Today's episode of the Combat Jack Show is brought to you by Sonos. I just recently received my Sonos and I immediately hooked it up in the living room, in my bedroom, and I had to bump the new SZA album and, it gave it a different experience. It's like I just heard the album for the first time, the crystal clear quality sound of Sonos. Sonos lets you have post-pounding sound in every room at once. That's right, you can play a different song in the living room, bedroom, even bathroom, or the same track in every room. Add your existing music services or discover something new, whether curated, on demand, free, or subscription based. Sonos has you covered with access to a growing list of music services. Plus, Sonos' simple app lets you control everything from songs to volume to rooms, all in one place. And right now, Sonos is offering the listeners of the Combat Jack Show 10% off one order of $2,500 or less for any product on Sonos.com. This offer is available for a limited time only and cannot be combined with other discounts or promotions. Use the promo code JACK10, that's capital JACK10 at Sonos.com to receive this limited time offer. And now back to the show. Let me, so Just, I want to share something. and I'll ask Redman, I'll spin it a little bit, but, a couple of months ago, top of the year, you had made a purchase, something that goes from 0 to 60 in like 8 seconds or less. And one of the first records you played in that.
Oh, 3 seconds or less, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
One of the first records you played.
Airplane, nigga?
So, it's close to it.
Yeah, just about.
Couple
Just
of them.
about. One of the first records that I remember, that you played was, West Side Gun and Conway.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw an excitement about you
Right.
that I haven't seen.
What was that again?
West Side Gun and Conway.
Two kids from,
They from Buffalo. Eminem just signed them, right? But you had a certain excitement about them.
That's what I'm saying. It's
that you
inspiration.
haven't had.
Yeah.
Like, what did you hear about those kids, man?
You know what? To be honest, I felt like I was listening to not a new MOP almost, in a sense. Not that they sound like MOP by any means.
Yeah.
It's a totally different sound. But it was something in the energy that just made me feel like I was listening to a new MOP, if that makes sense. And initially the idea was, all right, let's go in and do a song for my project, for this EP that I'm working on. That one song turned into 2 songs, turned into 8 songs in 2 days.
Crazy.
And I haven't done that in years. But that's because I was inspired by what we were doing. Right. You know what I mean? When you're, I'm sure you can attest to that. When you're inspired, when you find that lock with a producer or with an artist or with a musician or whatever, the magic just flows. That's how we were making, 5 records a day in Rockefeller back then. Everybody was just inspired by each other.
Wow.
And Red, you have been somebody who ushered in new talent pretty much on every album. You introduced somebody from Jersey or from your crew. Like who are you checking for in 2017?
As far as anybody in my crew?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working
or outside.
Well, in my crew, I'm working with Miss Amber Lachey. She's from Atlanta. She's an R&B artist. My sister was working with, and I'm helping my sister with her because she's very talented and she's hungry. And I like a person that has hard work ethics. I try to encourage anybody that works, that's younger than me, to work. Get the fuck in that studio and work. And she has that mobility. So Amber Lachey, you can find her on IG. I am Amber Lachey. And my boy Runt Dog, I'm working with him too. But as far as any new other artists in 2018, I actually talked to Pete Rock the other day. I said I want a Pete Rock and CL Smooth album in 2018, and yeah, he just gave me some news, just like, man, I want to too, but Doc, it might not. I'm like, please, bruh. But another person I want to. Rest in peace, Phife Dawg.
Yes.
But I was blessed to be in his last days before he died. Me, him, and Busta shot a video. Now, when I tell you this new Phife Dawg album is ridiculous, y'all.
So this album.
His album. He just sitting and wait to get the right deal so it can come out. But we got a video, man. Me, Busta, and Phife Dawg.
That's crazy.
And his album is like some old back in the day. Yo, his album is ridiculous. That's what I'm really looking for. I hope they found the right deal for that and to get platformed the right way. We can all help push that shit and make Phife happy. Yeah. Because
sure.
I never seen Phife as happy as he was on his last days, seeing me and Busta in a video with him. He was so pleased. And I seen it in his eyes. Like how he was just, I could see the pain he was going through as far as what he was going through internally. But he was happy and he kind of knew, like, it was.
He was at peace.
It was at peace, bro. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, man. Him really releasing that album so he can really rest in peace the right way.
Word.
You mentioned your sister. You talk about what's
no,
that,
my
Roz?
sister. No, not Roz. My sister.
Was that really your sister? I was wondering that. Was that really your sister?
Oh, Roz?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Is Rosita the new kid?
Yeah.
She had that one verse.
Yeah, she had that one verse. She was nice.
She was dope.
She was nice and shit, but she's a school teacher. She didn't even want to take it serious. She was trying to work and shit and, work at another job. I mean, you got to put full time in this job. Right. You can't be trying to go over
she was
here.
Like school teacher by day and like rapping by night?
Yeah, she was rapping when she wanted to. That's all it was. And, I told her, look, you want this shit. You got to be hungry and get in it. You can't be trying to put this job first and then trying to rap a little bit and be the new one on, on the scene. So she
dropped the music and went on to school.
That record was dope.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
So are we gonna open up the floor for a few questions before we close out?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just a few, because Redman.
let's get it, man.
He got Mr. Childs after this, so
Shot. Mr.
Allegedly.
Childs is impressive, is expensive like a motherfucker. I don't eat there.
Anybody
I
wanna
took
ask
my
a question
family there one time. They tried to charge me $900 up in that piece.
Come up to the mic. Come up. This is all recorded, so you got to come up to the mic.
So I know M has said, that he looks at you as probably, his favorite rapper, and I know it's been a lot that's been made about as far as his hip hop awards cipher, as far as him coming at Trump. What do you have as far as I look at you as somebody as an ambassador of hip hop, and you've kind of help him, motivate him to get to where he is to articulate, through hip hop how he feels about Trump. Like, what do you think about some of the shenanigans that's going on? I just want to hear your opinion and stuff.
On the Trump issue?
Yeah, just your perspective, man. Just,
Hey, listen, you don't want to hear my opinion. You don't want to hear my opinion because honestly, I'm not political and I usually just tell it like it is, cut and dry. Everything that's going on, man, is been planned. This government been running for over 200 years, man. There's no way that, anyone is going to come in and change the structure on that. That's just my opinion. I mean, it's a good thing that we all could vote. You see what happens when you don't vote. You get an asshole in a chair that we don't want. I don't pay no attention to Trump. I already know what he was going to do. I knew this was going to be a hot mess. I'm just looking for change. I just want change, and I want Michelle Obama to run for the next goddamn president because she has the chance to be the first woman to run for they should, because Obama can't run, but she can run, right?
Hold up. So, just
right?
Did you take Condoleezza Rice?
Ooh, shit, she got to change that hairdo.
Where's
first.
she at? Like she quiet.
I'll
take her
just
because.
First, brother.
Just a quick follow up to that. So do you think as hip hop artists who have those platforms like Eminem utilized his, appearance at hip hop, should we utilize our platforms at all times? Or is it kind of like, let me just get my money, get my show money and do me and, take care of my family? Like, what's your opinion on that?
That's funny as hell you said that, bro. Like, what's funny is I talked to Eminem last night and shit, like, for a half an hour. I called him yesterday, my nigga. He was like, yo, we talked for a half an hour. And you know what's funny? That when we got the same kind of feel, we got the same kind of, we think that we have the same kind of work ethics. We got the same kind of thinking process on how we tailor our rhymes. Just in an interview before I came here, they asked me about that. And they asked me about the Eminem freestyle for BET and was telling me about the comments. Like, yeah, they were saying, cause I didn't read the comments and shit, but I saw the cipher and it was fabulous. And they was telling me, yeah, the comments, they were saying his flow fucked up they ain't like the flow of it. I'm like, wait a minute. To go to your question, this man here didn't have to do anything. Yep. All right. Besides him being of the Caucasian race, he used his color. He used his color. If you're not going to listen to the color that's trying to give a point to you, maybe you'll listen to my color. I'm white. I'm on BET though. I could have went up there blacking. He could have went up there blacking with other shit. Eminem a blackout. But he used this platform of BET and his color to get to the highest of the highest to really make a statement. And that's what I really appreciate that man about, because he didn't have to do that shit. He did not have to step out his box to come here and say, you know what, there is an injustice, even though he has a responsibility to do it because we buy his music too. But he really proved to me what kind of man he was when he did that. And the freestyle was fire. The rhyme was fire. It wasn't no shrubbery in there to get you lost. It was right to the point. Straight to Donald Trump. Fuck you. Raise the fist for Cullen. Exactly. So my thing is, don't comment on it. Just look at it for what it is. Eminem, one of the biggest rap artists in the game, white, using our platform and his color to help make this point across for our race as well. Because we the ones that's getting our ass kicked, bottom line. And he used that to make a point. So big up to Eminem for that. And that's my statement on that situation right there, because that's real.
This week's episode of the Combat Jack Show is also brought to you by Audible, bringing listeners the world's largest selection of audiobooks and original audio entertainment. Did you know that audiobooks are eligible for Grammy consideration in the Best Spoken Word Album category? Amazing performances like Born a Crime by Trevor Noah and I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart, which are two phenomenal audiobooks. To listen to Audible for free with a 30-day trial, go to audible.com/Jack. That's AUDIBLE.com/Jack to start your 30-day trial free. And now back to the show.
What's up, Red? What's up, Just?
What's up, brother?
I'm a little young. I'm 25, and y'all may not know this, but like Def Jam Vendetta, Def Jam Fight for New York was one of the greatest video games ever. I always use your character. You feel me? I believe you got beat placement in there too, correct?
Yeah,
right?
all the blazing beats
Yes.
that was
See, so look, my question about that, you feel me, was how was that process of recording for that game? How did it feel to be in a video game, and how was that? Because that was such a big part of I still play that video game today. Like, that's one of my favorite video games ever. By the way, Tonight's the Night, one of my favorite songs ever. Thank you for making great music. Just thank you, but that was my question.
Well, for me, the EA Sports thing. I mean, I did Def Jam Vendetta, did NBA Live, NBA Street. And I still own I purposely structured that deal, just to go for what you were saying. I structured that deal so that to this day I still own all that music. I didn't sell EA anything. So gave them the music, they had to pay for it, but I said you can only use it in your game and in the commercials. And if you want to use it in the commercials, you gotta pay me. That's right. And I get to edit the commercials to my music. So so to this day, a copy gets sold, I still get that money. But that aside, growing up on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo and whatnot, to see myself in the game, dunking with Jordan in NBA Street was oh my God, bro, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Yo, but you know what? Doing that, what's funny is, man, at that time, that's how much, 90s is one of the best motherfucking eras there is. Hands fucking down. And, we elevated the rap game to the biggest market in the world, video game. They don't need us. Video games do not need.
But I'm gonna contradict you real quick.
They do need us just.
We didn't think they did. That was the attitude that we had, was that they were bigger than us. But the reason why do you think they came to Def Jam and said we want to make a game? Yes. Why do you think they went to Just Blaze and said we need real music? Because we gave them authenticity.
They want to branch as well.
Right.
But honestly, far as like building money, getting money like from our culture, they really didn't need our money, but they wanted to branch out. Yeah. They wanted to branch. And at that time, it showed me how large hip hop was getting, because we was on games everywhere. Yeah. Like from the first NBA Live, they was just opening the doors freely without problem. And doing the Fight for New York, we actually had to go in there and make our sound.
Motion catch.
And motion catch. They had to put things on it. We had to do our punch and shit. And I told them what I wanted. So that shit was a great experience, man. That shit was a great experience, man.
Thank you, guys.
One more question. One more.
Yeah, I ain't got to go. All
right, fuck it. So we go her, him, and my man right here, Terrence. What up, man?
I know you guys were speaking before about you felt like there's a disconnect between the generations when we hear like trap, and then some of the older ones feel like we're like, get off my lawn, like you're doing too much. Do you think that it's because of the powers that be that are just more focusing on like the YouTube views and the Billboard charts and the metrics and the followers instead of just focusing on the music? Or do you just feel like it's literally like a generational divide? Like I'm not listening enough to understand it, like. Or is it just a thing where you feel like the young kids are like, I'm sure you coming in, some of the older generation of rap were like, I don't get what you're talking about in your videos and your visuals and what you're coming with. Do you feel like it's just not a meeting of the minds, or it's just literally like the kids feel like they want to carve their new path and this is what we want to do and this is how we feel and you'll just deal with it? Or do you feel like it's just a thing of like a misunderstanding, or a thing of like the culture has just shifted to more of a metrics, followers. Let's get this money, like, money based formula.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think the problem is that these days the many parts of our culture have been boiled down to metrics, point blank. Like, say for example, in the '90s, an A&R might find this dope ass rapper on a street corner somewhere and say, "I think he has potential. I'm gonna sign him," and then you went into artist development. You put him in the studio with producers and started and then honed his craft for a year or two. Whereas now. And I know, speaking from personal experience, bring an artist to a label. What are the metrics? What are the what's his YouTube views? How many followers does he have? How many Instagram followers does he have? What are his analytics? What are his impressions? And they have a formula. Every label has the formula. That formula is how they determine the advance they're going to give you.
Yes.
Like, it's not driven by how talented do we think this guy is.
What's your following?
Right. You kind of already have to be your own machine.
Standard.
Right. And I'm like, at that point, well, then why bother signing to the label at that point? Just if they're relying on your machine, just continue to grow your machine.
Somebody was saying signing people nowadays is like signing them before they even get a following, right. Signing them before they get like 1 million followers on SoundCloud.
Yeah, because you can
and
sign
then
them
the
for
thing is like
$10,000.
keeping them out of jail, like
right.
then dealing with their problems, not
right.
finding out all that beforehand. Can they flow? Do they have a beat? Do they have a following? Do they have a artist presence? And then dealing with all the other things. Okay, drug use, problematic rape issues or sexual assault, like
rape culture.
Yeah, that's personal.
Yeah, the other thing I was gonna say is, that's a whole other part. But I think
that's become a part of the culture.
Right.
Like we have our fans, but we have to think first: are you problematic?
Right.
Now we can't even be fans just off of.
But you know what? Bottom line is these labels, most of these labels do not know how to build an artist, like Def Jam and other labels in the 90s did. They don't have time to really sit down and nurture an artist no more. They want you already ready to go get out the box so they can move on to the next one. And going back to your question about, do you think the new artists have the music between our music and the new? You know what? I think the new artist is carving out their own format of music. Everything is energy driven. Everything is energy driven. They got their own energy. They have their own energy. Every beat is boom, boom, and they jump. Back in the day, we had shit that make you jump, but then we had shit that make you, do your step. It's two-step. We had balance. We had varieties of feelings of music. And this is more energy driven. More boom, 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 boom. So, they are carving out their own path. And far as them reaching back to listen and get knowledge of what we did, they have to do that on their own. They have to be willing to say, I love this music game. I have to step back and learn like we do. We go back and listen to records.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say, is that it used to be cool to learn.
Yeah.
Like most of my childhood was spent. Like, I remember the day that I found my mom's Funky Drummer 45. And realized that was the beat from Public Enemy Rebel Without a Pause, and it blew my mind. Like, oh my god! And then I find the rest of it was a record sitting by itself on a chair in the attic. Under that chair was a box, Isaac Hayes, James Brown, and I'm going through these records. I'm like, oh my god, this is Ghetto Boys. This is that. And to me, that's where I got my knowledge from. And nobody ever said you have to sit down and study these breaks, son. It was the thing where it was like, if I want to be as great as them, I have to study them and learn them. And I think that's probably the only thing that the only real issue that I have with the current generation. Because there's, times change, sounds change, they shouldn't stay the same. I don't like the fact that it's almost cool now to not respect what came before you.
Yeah, I can dig that. And the radio too. The radio gotta help. The radio gotta help the fuck out. Absolutely. You got to remind them where they came from.
All right. First of all, thank you too for helping me shape my childhood with your music. Growing up in Brooklyn. I promise to make it quick. Yeah. All right. So I got two little questions. One for Just Blaze. I remember reading back maybe a couple of years ago about how hard it was to clear "Breathe" for Supertramp with the Supertramp sample.
Right.
like ridiculous. I can't believe that
100
even
grand.
happens. But I was gonna ask, are there other records that happen where like things like that happen where you've had like your most difficult tracks?
That probably. I've actually had very good luck with samples, but I also sampled smart.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna go sample a Billy Joel's greatest hit. You know what I mean? Because the publisher's gonna laugh me out of the room. So I try to generally stay with things that I know were easily clearable, or that I had direct relationships with somebody who knew the original writer or something like that. Like, what was the record I just did? The record I just did with Jadakiss and Styles last year, called Synergy. That was written by Don Blackman, rest in peace. Donald Blackman's son is my homie. So not only did he clear the sample, he gave me the original master to the song and all the tracks separated. So everybody's like, yo, how did you get an instrumental? There was never an instrumental. How did you sample it? I'm like, I got the actual reel. You know, so it's like when you sample smart, you end up A, just not having those clearance headaches, and B, end up better financially. Because had I went to a regular publisher to clear that Don Blackman sample, it probably would have cost me, $15 grand and 50% of the record. We cut a deal for damn near nothing because we had mutual respect, artist to artist. But yeah, that Supertramp situation was a nightmare. 100 grand, and then they wanted an extra 5,000 to shoot the video.
What?
If you want to shoot a video to our song or you want to shoot a video to your song using our sample, we need another 5,000.
I read that and it kind of broke my heart.
It is what it is.
Quick question for Doc.
100 grand.
How did you? This is a weird question. How did you get the Mary Jane girls in that Can't Wait video? Did they like need a check? How did that?
Yeah, man. What the
I don't
fuck?
know. I'm joking. I don't know. I'm joking.
Yeah, no.
You had the real Mary Jane girls in that video?
They was in the Can't Wait video.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and watch that.
The original Mary Jane girls too.
Wow.
Yeah, I told them I had a check for them. And plus they enjoyed the record, and I told them I was a fan. I mean, we was new. Hip hop was fresh, so they wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to, it was actually really not hard at all for them to come out. They heard the record, and we said we just want them to do they part, and they came on through. They got a little check though.
No, I mean I'm just saying because it was a couple years from when All Night Long.
Yeah. Of course, come on. Well, then they needed that check. That was because that was back when they did it when Rick James was hot. And, that was like 15 years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? It's long been thought that rap music is a young man's game. As you guys have aged, have either of you, like at any point in your careers or respective careers, thought about like, I'm getting too old for this shit, or I need to just like leave it to the young guys?
Yeah. No, rap is not a young man's game. It's a grown man's game. Yeah. You got to be grown with it. You could be grown at 23, nigga. When you 21, you grown. You feel what I'm saying? So to me, rap is a grown man's game. It's up to you how long your longevity is going to be in it. Like every day I wake up, I still feel I ain't get started yet. I wake up with that attitude like I ain't even begin to get this money yet. I ain't begin to hit these bars yet. So, I know I aged and I have kids. Your kids my kids range, I have 5 kids. My kids range from 13 to 27. I raised kids before I had kids. So from 13 to 27, I'm getting all that from 27, 21, 19, 15, and 13. So I'm getting all the opinions from all. And at the end of the day, from my oldest to my 2 sons that's 19 and 21, that's right in the mix of shit. And my 2 sons is right in Atlanta. So they in the mix of the trap and everything, all the new music. They say, Dad, nah, that music they play on the radio is for kids. We still tuned into 90s shit. And I run into a lot of young kids that's 18, 19, or 20, 22. They be like, nah, we still tuned in. We go back. We still tuned in. So that keeps me mentally motivated. Like, yeah, I'm still nice with this pen. I could still go another motherfucking 10 years if I need. Not a problem. How about you, Josh?
For me, it's kind of the same thing. Like, as long as I wake up feeling inspired, I still feel the same way I did when I go into the studio that I did when I was 18, 17. For me, it doesn't change. As long as I'm inspired, I'm good to go. And to be honest, I make more money now being selective with what I do musically than I did when I had 10 records on the radio at once. And that's because I'm working less harder, but I'm working much more smarter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When I first came in the game, it was get on every album, get on every single, doing song deals at every album, and I'm making all this money, but it's coming in quickly, it's going out quickly, and I'm just oversaturating myself, and I'm actually draining my creativity. I learned over time that I'd rather have 5 great records out over a 1 year period than 20 records that are just out. You know what I mean? Like I just like to make impacts. And that's why I think part of the reason why people come up to me and say things like, yo, such and such is the greatest beat of all time. And I'm like, that was 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but it's still my favorite. You made such a statement. And that's kind of become my mission, is to just make statements. That's right. Make records that matter so that 10 years from now, people will still talk about them. As long as you have made those statements over the years, you can't really go out of style. Because there's always going to be an appreciation for quality. But there won't always be an appreciation for that same trend that everybody else is following.
That's right. You're right on that, Jess.
Yeah, I just want to add too. As I'm hearing you guys talk about the old generation, new generation stuff. If you look at like who's the bridge between like a Red to now, right? Those would be, as far as like doing research and appreciating the era before them, the Kendricks, right? The J. Cole's, even Drake, right? If you look at the other artists that don't have the same success as those guys, and they have tenure now,
right?
But I think there's it's a I don't say conspiracy, but I think you hear a lot of popular music that kind of, I think the intent is to suppress the Kendricks. I don't know if that's possible, or the J. Cole, because of their message,
right? And
because they are the bridge. But all that other cookie cutter shit is those are the one hit wonders, right? But we can't focus on that because the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Drakes,
that's right,
and the new 10-year artists, they're doing it,
right,
and getting Grammys and
making great music,
right?
And they still make music that you could that you could wild out to and turn up to. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like these dudes aren't making dope party records that fit right in during a trap set at the club, But it's just there's a bit more substance to it, and that's the reason why those records last so much longer. You think about like records from some of these other artists who, not the artists you mentioned, but some of these other artists that will come out and do, 500 million views. And then the album comes out, it does not sell anything. You know what I mean? Because nobody really cares about that artist, they care about that song. But Cole comes out and sells 1 million copies and is touring all over the world. Exactly. People who actually can relate. Yeah, I always use the example of Kanye, the second album. Diamonds Are Forever was not a huge hit. The video got played a bit. Radio didn't really take to it. He still came out and sold 960,000, I think, the first week, because people cared about him. They identified with him. If they couldn't identify with him, they wanted to. And when that's the definition, or that's the difference between being an artist that people care about versus just the dude with the hot record that's out right now.
Wow. Peace. I ain't as political as everybody else. I want to know, where the fuck's Uncle Quilly?
I want a quarter.
Yo, Uncle Quilly is on a new album too, yo. He's on a new album, yo.
Yo, he need an Instagram page or something, man.
Yeah. That's a good fucking idea, man.
Uncle Quilly Instagram. I agree.
That'd be I see you got the Nas Swift shirt on. I see you.
Hi. So the first time around, the internet wasn't such a big deal. So record sales were based on vinyl and cassettes and CDs, etc. So now that streaming and the internet and YouTube views and all that stuff is coming into play, how do you think it's going to affect your new project? Help, hurt? Yay, nay?
Repeat that.
So, first time around, right? We're all buying vinyl, cassettes, CDs. We're all looking at the booklets, etc. So now we don't have that anymore. It's all about streaming.
That's right.
And YouTube and who's leaking what. So how do you think that's going to affect your new project coming out?
Well, you know what? The record sales were bigger in the 90s because we had not too many outlets you can buy our record from. You had to go to the record store and buy our shit. You can't order our shit online or through iTunes. So the record sales was bigger back then. Everyone knows nobody's selling no records nowadays, man. That's just what it is. It's about, to me, what I see is, when I drop an album, even when I drop Muddy Waters album, I'm not expecting to come out and sell records like that. Not at all. Long as I'm satisfying my core fans. Me and Meth, we have a cult. You know, and we can live off our cult for the rest of our life. You know, we're good. Like you probably don't hear about, you know, certain things we do, but we out there working. We out there working. So our cult, they motivate us to make us believe, and they have me believing that, you know, you don't need to try to make music to tap into the new. You don't need their sales. You don't need their acknowledgement. Just supply us. We'll take care of you. So as long as I know I got that cult, and when I drop an album, I got the same places I go rock to every show, and they be packed every goddamn time. And I use my album as a platform just to build other opportunities. It's about driving traffic to your brand right now. So the album is used to just drive traffic, drive opportunities, and you've used that, and you go on the road, exploit that, sell your merch, sell your t-shirts, make a toothbrush, do something, and go out and sell and drop music. You keep dropping music and bringing it back. That's how I look at it. So it hurt in sales wise, but opportunity-wise and helping your brand, no. All you have to do is build your core audience and supply them. That's just my opinion.
What he said.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much it. You know, like, I think part of the reason why I've been able to maintain a certain amount of financial success is because, like, I've been giving out records. I give out music for free now, but then I go and tour off of those records. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I started doing that around 2013, and the records were taking off faster than I could keep up with the show bookers. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, I'm like going from Just Blaze the producer to Just Blaze the touring producer DJ. You know, so the music is like the commercial for everything else. You know, for your platform, the music is just the invitation to come to the show, to come buy this merch. You know what I mean? So, or to come to the restaurant, or take part in some other venture that I have going on. Really,
that's right. That's right.
When the most important thing we have to do is teach the youth. When you approach a 10-year or 20-year or 30-year milestone, how do you approach it with a celebration of your artwork? Is it with a reintroduction or like a recreation of new?
When we, like, after like 20 years or whatever.
Meaning if you drop Muddy Waters in 96, when that 20 years coming up, is it, let me reintroduce that to the youth, or let me bring them up to date with what I'm at now 20 years later?
Yeah, that's kind of such a good question. Is making me think about how I'm supposed to answer that bitch. All right. When I'm dropping this new Muddy Waters, I'm not trying to. First of all, I'm calling this Muddy Waters 2, like TOO. I'm not putting 2 like this is the second. I'm making Muddy Waters better than the first one. I'm not trying to top it. What I want to do is, the reason I named it TOO, saying it's Muddy Waters 2 as well. It's muddy as well. If you didn't listen to Muddy Waters, the first one, listen to this one, and then you might want to step backwards and learn something. I'm not going to change the format. I'm going to keep the same format. Like I told you earlier, I'm doing the samples. I'm paying for the samples. And my thing is, I want to dedicate this album to the authenticity of, the 90s era of samples, and really just putting your balls on the line, not caring about the singles and the having a hot single. I'm not worried about singles on my album. I just want to drop a great album that brings you back to a certain time period. So that's what I want new ears to give them eargasms. That's the only thing I want the new wave. If they want to tune in, I want to give them an eargasm. Like, oh shit, this is how they was doing it in the 90s. And if you see now, everybody's running out of ideas. What they doing now? They're tapping back into samples now. Putting the samples in trap music now that we used to groove to.
But what's wild is they're also doing a lot of, like, one of the big things is remaking 90s New Jack Swing or 90s hip hop and R&B and taking it and flipping it in the trap.
Yeah,
record.
yes they are.
Yeah.
Yes they are. So it's not even reintroduction I'm trying to do. It's just I just want to bring some awareness to where we came from. And if you're young or old, I just want to bring the awareness on how our era was ran with samples and the aggressiveness of doing a whole album and actually listening to a whole album. No one listens to no one even believes in doing the albums no more.
Mostly EPs.
Just want to do a single, let something go. And, I want to bring back listening to a whole album again,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our time. One time, clap it up for Redman, Just. Real quick. Real quick, Red, just, let's talk about the show one again, when we could expect that.
Oh yeah, that's this Monday, October 23rd, 9:00. Scared Famous.
Where?
Oh, on VH1.
Yeah. For those who don't know.
Yeah, on VH1 and shit, yo.
Yes. Thank you, Just.
Oh, come on, anytime.
Yo, Combat Jack show.
Yo, shout out to Combat Jack for not being here. I know you have family issues, but yeah, next time.
Love, brother.
Yeah. Thanks again to Sonos for supporting this week's episode of the Combat Jack Show. Whether curated or on demand, free or subscription based, Sonos has you covered with access to a growing list of music services in any room or every room at once. And now, for a limited time, Sonos is offering the listeners of our product 10% off one order of $2,500 or less for any product on Sonos.com. Just use the promo code JACK10. That's capital JACK 10 at Sonos.com to receive this limited time offer.
This episode of the Combat Jack Show is produced by Jonathan Mena, executive produced by A. King, and this is an official Loudspeakers Network production. I'm dead. I'm really mad y'all made me do that. I'm so mad right now. Please don't put that anywhere. I'm so mad at y'all. Bop, bop, bop.